And we've got a woman here from Denmark, Connie Hansen, wearing 60, who could also break 2 hours today. And away they go, 10 meters behind the start line, because they finished 10 meters from the official finish line. And David Holding of the United Kingdom wears number 1, defending champion and record holder last year at 1:58.14. But some superb Frenchmen, Swedes, Germans, and Connie Hansen of Denmark is going to make this the finest wheelchair marathon we've ever had. And they want to point out that this is where the physical disability doesn't...
And there's the elite start, known as the blue start. Inge Simonsen of Norway. And a word now from Brendan Foster.
Well, many times in the past, David, we've been looking at the time and the pace and who's going to win it. This time, it's like the Grand National. It's a really wide open race, both for the men and for the women. This year, I feel that the Russian team are going to do pretty well. They've got a very strong representation, and 2 of the Russians, Tolstikov and Kashapov, are 2 of the boys that some of the other athletes are looking at. Obviously, the Ethiopians are carrying the pressure of favoritism, but they won't be too happy with the weather conditions like this, because this is not what they're used to. These are good conditions for running, except that
those are the very best. Nearly 70 nations represented through it, Teddy, so we should be able to see the lead runners. Now, in case you've just joined us, people will be switching on all the time. Let me tell you, we can't... that looks like the lead runner coming into sight, or lead runners. We can't give you pictures at the moment of the leaders because the tracking cameras, the mobile cameras, cannot send their pictures up to the helicopters, which can't fly because of the low cloud base. The helicopters reflect the signals back to the transmitters. But we're hoping the cloud base of 600 feet will raise during the course of the race to the permitted level of 900 feet. So we'll only get the leaders at the moment at a fixed point, and they're approaching 1 now. Well, clearly there's been no major break from the number of athletes we can see there. But the pace, Brendan Foster, well, they've not gone off like madmen, and lead car, I think, in view. That's the camera car, which is still not operating because the helicopter from which we bounce the signals can't fly. The cloud base is too low. So I bet those camera lads, we had a talk yesterday about what was going to be done. I should think they're pretty fed up with what's happening out there, but there's no way out of it. You can see in the background how misty it is. Leaders from Alan Story, the marathon coach, is on the lead car. Now, Alan, can you tell us the 1, 2, 3?
Well, 1, 2, 3, Nick Rose is leading with Phil Reichschneider of USA and Alistair Hutton tucked in behind him. Nick Rose is in as nothing other than a blatant pacemaker, and his job was to take the leaders on at the pace they wanted to go. At some stage, just before Cutty start, a group of 3 seemed to sort of pull themselves away, and at that stage, nobody wanted to give chase in the lead group. So these 3 pulled away very, very quickly. In fact, they're so far in front at this stage, I can't even see the other runners behind. Now, our understanding also is that Phil Reichschneider wasn't in the best of shape, and if he didn't feel too good, he was going to give Nick a hand. So that would suggest that we possibly have 2 pacemakers and 1 runner in the front 3 now, which is going to make it a very sort of lonely state of health for Alistair Hutton when we get into the Isle of Dogs and his 2 pacemakers desert him. I would have to think that they're 40 seconds in front now. I can't even see them. We've come around the corner on the approaches, southern approaches to Tower Bridge, and there's nobody else turned the corner. I can see back 200 yards now. So they're going fairly quick, just over 2 minutes or 2 hours 8 minute pace, and there's no sign of the leading group still. They've not even turned the corner.
So they're now approaching Tower Bridge, the 12-mile mark. That information very useful indeed. Although I've had the mile times corrected, actually. That 4:46, 4:47 we were given doesn't seem to be right. They've now been slightly corrected. There was a 4:40 odd involved there. And Nick Rose leads, the pacemaker from Bristol. Veteran athlete, and by well, my word, how well he keeps going. I'm astonished he's not moved up to the marathon. We've also got Reichschneider of the USA in the blue vest, and Alistair Hutton, who's looking very, very comfortable indeed. And
it's a lonely road there. You can see him just tracking the camera. He's almost going as fast as our camera crew, and they're at 19 miles he's gone through. He's still got that big lead. The chasing group are just behind that milk float, and it's still a big group we can see. We're looking for Bettiol, of Italy. We're looking for Tolstikov, number 4, the Soviet Union athlete, and Pilkington, who won the Houston Marathon we saw earlier in this group. I think our British interest in this chasing group has begun to diminish, even though I expect to see Mike O'Reilly there. And it's Neddy from Ethiopia and Betty All from Italy in 3rd place. Mike O'Reilly in 4th, and those 3 are beginning to pull away in that group. So there's a race chase now, the Ethiopian and the Italian.
And these are the danger signals now for Alistair Hutton, because the second group is beginning to race in the ladies' race. Now, the last time we saw them, she was alongside Bogacheva, number 803 of the Soviet Union, but I can't see the Soviet athlete there. 803 we're looking for. It doesn't appear to be in that group.
This is a good example of how the club runners will help the women racers. The real elite women racers are still surrounded by some excellent club runners, keeping them company. Panfil surrounded by them, helping her along. This should be the group that are coming up here. And she's still got a mass of people to run with. She's not isolated. And that's there she is in the middle of that pack. And some very good runners surrounding her and nursing her along.
How right you are. Just ahead of her, Ron, was Barry Watson, who ran for Britain in the Olympic marathon.
Through 19 miles, and we've just got some information about Alistair Hutton, which is of interest. He went through 20 miles in 1 hour, 38 minutes and 33 seconds. And I've just worked it out that his last 4 miles he's averaged 5-minute miling, which means he's slowing a little, and let's hope he's not slowing too much, because he was running 4:50, 4:54 miling. He's now down to 5-minute miling, if those times are accurate. So I'm beginning to get a little bit nervous about Alistair.
We might see the lead woman again here at 19 miles. It was Panfil of Poland last time we saw. Panfil, who's wearing number 801. Incidentally, what's the spa water being taken on board? And they've produced 1 million bottles at great expense. But these bottles, Brendan, are quite important, aren't they? We did make the remark during the Auckland Commonwealth Games marathon. That's Barry Watson, by the way, in the white vest going through. Balding now, the 1976 Olympic marathon runner, right at the forefront of the picture. But I was just making the point about the water bottles. They are more reasonable. There's no use taking them in tumblers. You lose half the water. But these specially made bottles are a real bonus, aren't they?
Well, they're a bonus for drinking, but I mean, when they actually throw them away and they pile up on the side of the road, you've got...
Well, we can leave the fun runners for the man who really means it, Alistair Hutton. Approaching 23 miles, going through the grounds of the Tower of London. Special carpet laid down over the cobbles, and what a bonus that is for the athletes, because you can really cramp up on this. And he's using it too, and quite rightly so. He still looks to be running quite strongly, but Brendan Foster's got a watch on this, and we'll measure the gap. The last time we saw them, it was 75 seconds. Can he maintain it?
He looks stronger now. He's probably got through the lonely period of the Docklands, and he's now on his way. He won't enjoy those few yards of cobbles, but he will enjoy the next couple of...
Meanwhile, we got some good news. Now, don't worry about the breakup. We've suffered long enough, actually, not being able to see the leaders. But thanks to the genius of our engineers, the helicopter's not flying. But the signals now in the closing stages being reflected back from static aerials. They've specially rigged them. Please live with the breakup. This is the leader, Alistair Hutton, and he's got about 2.5 miles to go. And the big question is whether Betty Ole can catch him. There they're waiting at the finish, having rehearsed the finishing funnel procedure with the finish of the mini marathon. No, we're not teasing you too much, but this is Northumberland Avenue. Our engineers never like to put out unacceptable pictures, but with the low cloud base, we've not been able to put out any pictures at all. And this is fairly vital. Let's just have a look at Alistair Hutton go through there and see if we can see how close the Italian is and the Spaniard in 2nd and 3rd places. Actually, one of the problems is, as I'm talking, I don't think the lead car there showing Alistair Hutton can hear us. But the vital thing is to see what the gap is. Alistair Hutton's got a youngster chasing him, which he won't like at this stage. He'll be aware of him. You're very, very tired after 24 miles, and that's the last thing you want. So he'll come into shot there, and we're on our fixed camera coverage, so we should get better pictures now. But at least that's given us a flavour of what's happening. He's just climbing that very short hill into Trafalgar Square. The lead car now in the mile, and Alistair Hutton not far behind. Less than 2 miles to go. And we've got this tortuous situation. How far behind will the Italian and the Spaniard turn out to be? It's the gap that really matters now, and we'll get some idea as to whether Alistair Hutton is reasonably safe. And with each stride, it begins to look better. Whatever happens, he's run a truly magnificent race. He's been by himself for practically the whole of the distance since halfway. In a moment, we'll have a look again to see where the chasing group are, and it looks to me, Brendan, as if Alistair Hutton has got a secure lead.
Now, even though he does look smooth, he's a smooth runner, he's a stylish runner, he's a very economical marathon runner, and he's an experienced marathon runner. When I think about it, he ran his best time here of 2 hours, 9 minutes and 16 seconds. That was 5 years ago, but I'll tell you what, he won't be interested in his time today. He'll be interested in the glory, the first Scotsman to win the London Marathon. He'll make the headlines up there. He was a bit disappointed about the Commonwealth Games, but he'll have forgotten all about that now. And I think the athletic world, they've always respected Alistair, and he's such a likeable guy, and he's really been a good, talented athlete.
Second in the New York Marathon behind Steve Jones a couple of years ago when he got cramp in the closing stages. But the gap does look decisive, doesn't it? The race really is for second and third now, because Hutton is almost to be in sight of the finish. Crosses between the traffic lights to take the line to the finishing funnel. What a tremendous feeling this must be. The Scot, who's had so many battles in recent years against injury, but now within sight of his great